Alright, let's dive into something that's been making waves lately. A government proposal that's got everyone talking. The idea. Primary schools in England should start identifying kids who are at risk of becoming NEET. That's not in employment, education, or training by the time they're 16. Sounds like a bold move, right? But here's the thing, personally, I think this is one of those ideas that's both fascinating and deeply controversial. Let me break it down for you. First off, what makes this really interesting is the timing. We're talking about flagging kids as young as primary school age, some even preschool. Alan Milburn, the guy leading this review, says the warning signs are there early on. Poverty, mental health issues, being in care, these are all red flags. But here's where it gets tricky. Are we really equipped to predict a kid's future at such a young age? I mean, think about it, kids change, circumstances change. What if we're labeling them too soon? That's a question that immediately stands out to me. From my perspective, this proposal raises a deeper question about our education system and society as a whole. Why are we seeing such a sharp rise in NEET rates among young people? The numbers are staggering. Over 1 million 16 to 24-year-olds in the UK are NEET, and that's the highest it's been in a decade. What many people don't realise is that this isn't just a UK problem, it's part of a global trend. But the UK's numbers are climbing faster than in other countries, and that's alarming. Is it the job market? Mental health? The education system itself? Or is it all of the above? One thing that immediately stands out is Milburn's emphasis on upstream failure. He's saying that by the time a young person hits the benefit system, it's already too late. The system has failed them somewhere along the way, in education, in health, in opportunities. Personally, I think this is spot on. If you take a step back and think about it, we're essentially trying to fix a problem that started years earlier. But here's the catch. How do we fix it without turning schools into prediction machines? Because let's be real, that's not their job. A detail I find fascinating is the comparison with Ireland. Milburn visited Ireland, which has seen the fastest drop in NEET rates in the EU. What's Ireland doing differently? Apparently, they are focusing on early intervention, better support systems, and stronger links between education and local businesses. This raises a deeper question. Could the UK learn from this? Or is the UK's problem so unique that it needs a completely different approach? In my opinion, the proposal to use attendance records and pupil premium funding for tutoring and mentoring is a step in the right direction. But it's not enough. What this really suggests is that we need a complete overhaul of how we support young people. Mental health services, career guidance, apprenticeships, these all need to be turbocharged, as Milburn puts it. But here's the kicker. Are we willing to invest the time and money it takes to make that happen? Because right now, it feels like we're just putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. What makes this even more complex is the political angle. Andy Burnham, the new PM, has made youth employment a top priority. He's talking about retooling technical education and apprenticeships, which sounds great on paper. But welfare reform? That's a minefield. Milburn says any cuts to benefits need to come with more support, and I couldn't agree more. But will that actually happen? Or will we see more of the same, young people left to fend for themselves? If you take a step back and think about it, this proposal is less about predicting the future and more about acknowledging the present. Kids who are struggling now, with attendance, with mental health, with poverty, are the ones most at risk later. But labeling them as at risk could stigmatize them even further. That's a fine line we're walking here. What this really suggests is that we need to rethink how we support all kids, not just the ones we think are at risk. So, where does this leave us? Personally, I think this proposal is a wake-up call. It's forcing us to confront the failures in our system and ask some tough questions. But it's also a reminder that young people aren't just statistics. They're individuals with potential, and they deserve better. What do you think? Is this the right approach? Or are we missing the mark? Let me know in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going.